back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we are on our 53rd episode. And you're joining us on the N.FM. Man, we were gone last week. We were getting better. And one of us was a little under the weather, but that's cool. Sometimes we need a week off. I was able to catch up on so much stuff. It was kind of nice. There's been so much stuff out, like Batman, Superman, so many shows out, the Walking Dead season finale. And it's just been a good few weeks. I know you've been under the weather though, buddy. How you feeling?
I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better. Yeah, it's all been in my throat, and I couldn't quit coughing. And that makes for a bad podcast.
It does. And again, of course, that's Logan.
Hello.
Hello. And sorry for we take a week off and I slip up at the beginning of the show. But yeah, so man, you had a week off. Man, we have so much to talk about, dude. There's so much news. There's so much to talk about. Have you been watching stuff? You been reading stuff?
I've been catching up on a few things. A lot of sleeping. Mostly, but
yeah, I don't blame you, man. Me too. I don't have an excuse. Oh yeah. But let's get into it, man, because we got a lot of news. We got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right out of the gate, man, with some Wonder Woman news.
Yeah.
First promo image from the upcoming film shows, and how do you pronounce her name?
Go for it.
Menelippe?
Menelippe, I think is
Menelippe?
That works.
Yeah, Lisa Loven Kongsley, Queen
Hippolyta. That's all right.
You take this one. I'm not even attempting this.
Okay. Queen Hippolyta, played by Connie Nielsen, and General Antiope, played by Robin Wright. And it was just a neat, like, hey, look, here are, like, the key Amazons. So I thought, well, that's neat. That's pretty cool.
It's like they took the, like, letters, put it in a Yahtzee thing, and just shook it up. They're like, these are Wonder Woman's, No. But that's cool. And a little sneak peek to what we're going to be talking about later on in the episode, Batman vs. Superman. Wonder Woman, by far, one of my favorite things about the film.
Oh, here.
I loved her in it, so it got me really excited to see what this Wonder Woman film's gonna be coming forward. To me, it kind of, since it's a period piece, I think it's gonna be a little bit like Captain America. So I'm pretty excited, but that's awesome. So we got to see some promo pictures of it, and it looks very much like Wonder Woman. So that was awesome. We did get some other news too. There was one I was going to mention before. We'll jump to the one you're laughing at. Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Paul McCartney shoots a scene for the upcoming film.
Sure. I mean, if Keith Richards can do it, why not Paul McCartney?
This is just. I like that they're having fun with it. Maybe Snoop Dogg will be in the next one.
Yeah, right.
That's cool. I'm sure that maybe one of Paul McCartney's dreams. But this one piece of news I wanted to bring up real fast. Now, this is a rumor. Apparently, I don't have the article in front of me, but I guess on BBC's website, they reported that Sony, what do you call it when they get a domain or whatnot? They got Spider-Man Homecoming the movie registered as a domain. So rumor is that this new Spider-Man movie might be called Spider-Man Homecoming.
Interesting. There was a Homecoming arc, wasn't there? Yeah, there was. There was a Homecoming arc at one point. That could be interesting.
What was it about?
I really wish I could tell you. Because it escapes me. I should be a walking encyclopedia of all things Spider-Man. But I know. It's a bad Logan. But it does. It escapes me for a minute. But I know there was, and I can't even tell you, like, how, was it an older arc? Was it a not so, was it like pre One More Day? I'm pretty sure it was pre One More Day.
Okay.
I think, I'm not sure, but I thought that was interesting. But I mean, this could just be my thing is, how many other domains has Sony bought though?
Right. No,
Person.
no, okay, no, yeah, absolutely. And I guess there was a Spider-Man Homecoming, I guess it was issue 252 titled Homecoming, the Spider-Man published in 1984.
Okay.
It was released after the Marvel's first Secret War crossover. The comic shows basically it was
It's the black
introducing the new
suit.
Spider-Man, and it was in the new suit.
It's the black. That's right. It was the black
Black
suit.
suit.
Damn. I should have remembered that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think this title, if that is the title, would be perfect because it's Spider-Man coming home. You know, they're now got the ties in with Marvel.
Yeah.
I have nothing but good faith moving forward with Spider-Man.
I agree. Yeah, I think this title works on a couple different levels, like you said. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah, totally. This is a homecoming for the character that's now tied into the universe. And let's be honest, a lot of these Marvel films, they're not, you can go and see Ant-Man and not know a thing about everything else that's going on in the Marvel universe. You can go see, Iron Man or Captain America, and it's still their stories. Yes, they're tied to a bigger picture, but there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it all makes sense in those movies. And there's little, like Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't need to know a thing about the Marvel universe.
Right.
Yeah, it's its own thing. So, that's what kind of makes this relationship really cool. Spider-Man doesn't have to be beholden to all of these other pictures. They just have to play nice. They just have to go, oh, you're doing that over there? Okay, well, we'll kind of stay in that boundaries. And it seems to be pretty big, So anyway, I'm super excited, dude.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's see here. We got some Kingsman 2 news. Sequel is titled Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Halle Berry's role revealed as leader, related to the U.S. organization called the Statesman.
Yeah, as opposed to the Kingsman.
Yeah. See, I never read the comic. Have you ever read the comic?
I have. It's the first movie.
Right. Didn't they kidnap? Yeah, that's what it was. I do remember it having Mark Hamill in the comic as well.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember from it. I remember picking up the first issue and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was it. Like, it was a first movie, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. That's the entirety of the comic. Now what? Now we get to go have fun and do whatever we want. Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now we got Deadpool. Some Deadpool news. Did you see it got the highest grossing for R-rated ever?
There's an interesting piece to this. It's the highest grossing R-rated film worldwide, but not in the U.S.
So what's in the U.S.?
I think it's still The Matrix Reloaded.
How does that make sense?
Because, because it hasn't made as much in the. Now this is on, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like
it wouldn't make it worldwide. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, the international was higher, but the domestic, and that may have changed by now. This was on numbers from, I think, like a week ago.
Right.
Back when.
Go.
Yeah, back when Batman Superman was making money.
Yeah.
Boy,
68% drop.
It went
in
from
the second week.
Yeah, it went from what 170 something to 52.
That, let's just say, that does not surprise me in the least.
Me neither.
Yeah, and that might give you a preview of what's to come.
It made.
Yeah.
That's the interesting. It made more on its opening Friday than it did this past weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
By almost half.
And that's the thing. I think everybody was going to run to the theater to see it. A lot of the reviews were coming out, and they were not good. I think it was like in the 20s for the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. And, that wasn't going to stop me or you to go see it. And I think we go and see movies with an open mind because, we love movies that a lot of people hate or critics hate. Like, what was that one that you went and saw? You loved it, and the critics destroyed it. It was the, what was it? With the girls. What was it called? The singers,
Gem and the Holograms, yeah.
Yes, Gem and the Holograms. There's movies that we go and see that are just, the critics are critics about it, and we still enjoy it. So I thought it'd be better for me going in with, like, low expectations.
Yeah, and you were still disappointed.
I was still disappointed. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that people walked out and probably told their family, you should probably wait for Blu-ray.
Right.
That's what I did, and literally everyone in my family was like, okay, that, yeah, I wasn't. I think maybe my dad was the only person that was like, it's still Batman Superman. I was like, yeah, you should still go see it. Like, it should, if that excites you, then absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is like movies like this, the big name titles like this. You're always gonna have a killer opening weekend. The second weekend is going to be it's going to be dependent on the word of mouth, reviews, critics, etc., etc. But the biggest thing for the second weekend is the rewatch. How many people thought, man, that was really cool. Let's go see it again.
Right, and you're going to go and take your friends, and you're going to go tell everybody about it. And that's what happened with Avatar and, Jurassic Park and Star Wars, for God's sakes. They were like, you need to go see it. I'll go see it. Let's all go see it. This is great. It wasn't I don't even think I've ever seen so many. Like, I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook and whatnot, like the kind of funny group and whatever. I've never seen a group so divided and so divisive, where it's like you either really love it or you don't like it. And if you don't think it's a good film, suddenly, like, oh man, I had people jump all over me because I was like, I don't think it was a good film, and you would have thought I insulted their family name. And it was like, I can be critical, right? Like, I can say, or I'm just a hater. Like, I don't know. It was weird, but yeah, it was kind of funny seeing how divisive this was.
Interesting.
And if you enjoyed it, good for you. I envy you. Like, I wish I could have went to that and loved it. I don't think it was Fantastic Four or anything, but anyway, we'll talk about all that later. But that's the Batman news this weekend. It's, oh man. But anyway,
piggybacking off of that, yeah.
Right. Well, this kind of ties into it. So, Suicide Squad film is reportedly undergoing reshoots to add more fun.
Which means that the marketing was bull.
Exactly. Now, there's a few different ways that you can take this. A lot of people have jumped on and said this happens to a lot of films, and that's very true. That does happen to a lot of films. Usually reshoots, it does happen. But, and I don't have the article in front of me. I haven't read it in a few days, but I believe it said this is more of a rumor, that this was them, so anyway, this isn't a definitive that I read anyone coming out and saying it. So take it for what it is. Now, if it is true that they're going back to add more fun, you are absolutely right. Apparently, and this is what rumor is, that in that last trailer, which, by the way, had more views than Batman vs Superman's trailer, and the reason why is because I think people went and said, "Hey, look at this trailer! This is awesome! This is fun!"
Yeah.
And I think people confuse the word "fun" with like family friendly.
Right. I agree. There's a big difference.
Right, and I think when people think the word fun, their immediate reaction is, don't make this like Marvel, and it's like, no. Sorry, but The Dark Knight to me was a fun movie because I wanted to see Heath Ledger in every scene. That movie was great. And, Jurassic Park, it's a fun movie. Like, it has its terrifying moments. It knows when it should be dark. It knows when it should be lighthearted. And it's a fun ride. When you walk out of it, you're like, man, that was an awesome ride. Alien, all those movies. This trailer looks fun. Like, it looks like it has cool moments. Not like family-friendly moments, but like, okay, I'm in. Like, that looks like an awesome time. And apparently during those 2 minutes or whatever, those were all the awesome moments.
Yeah, there's a surprise.
And everything else was more Batman vs Superman. And if that's true, that's the studio going, we need to do something. And I think this lever should have been pulled a long time ago.
Well, I mean, you would have thought after Man of Steel they would have heard this.
Yes, but Man of Steel was not as divisive, I think, as Batman vs Superman hate. Man of Steel, you had a lot of comic book people upset, but they're not a majority. You had, everyone else who didn't read a comic book thought, oh, it was so cool. Superman's actually more, down to earth, and he's killing Zod and blah, 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 blah. This time it's like, oh no, it's just not a good movie. It's not exciting. It's not entertaining.
Right.
It's not keeping my attention. And so, I don't know. So apparently if they went in to add more fun, that's not a good look for the movie.
And I'll say this. It shows, if nothing else, if this is true, and the way The article that I read, I don't know if we read the same one, but it said they're not going in like to add new scenes or new jokes or anything like that, but they're doing it to kind of lighten up some of the moments that are already a little on the fun side to begin with.
Okay.
It's kind of like they're saying, hey, you know what? We can take these moments and bring it up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with your point. Movies do undergo, like, every movie has reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
Every movie has reshoots. Not every movie has them publicized.
Right.
But regardless, if this is true, if this is half true, I think it shows, like, I'll tip my hat to Warner Brothers for saying, look, okay, crap, how can we not have this happen again?
Right.
I will accept that. I will tip my hat to them for just for that level of intelligent crisis management.
Oh, no, totally. If they are now realizing that our movies need to be a little bit more fun, then yes, it can still be dark. It can that's the balance. Like, if you want to be taken seriously, like the Nolan pictures, you can't do it half-assed like you did and make it just incomprehensible. You just can't do that. If you want to be taken serious like the Nolan films, make a serious film. But you did it in such a haphazard way, it didn't come off like that, and you can't take it seriously when you can't get the editing right or like anything else. And that's the thing. It's like, that's why Marvel, they take themselves seriously, but they don't let their films have their head up their own ass, if that makes sense.
There's a difference between respecting the material and being honest with the characters and the story and having characters and a story and dialogue in the first place, and being willing to find ways to take a step back and say, look, we get it. This is inherently a little bit ridiculous.
Right.
We can be in the middle of trying to stop a genocide, but look, I mean, this guy's got a cape and swings a hammer next to a sentient robot and a 95-year-old guy who was frozen in ice and slings a shield around. You have to be able to take that perspective with it,
Exactly, yeah. They don't need to be telling jokes the whole time, but make it fun. Like, make me like, all right, this is an awesome scene. Not like I'm getting punched in the face every scene. So I don't know. Like, this is a thing that we've seen from DC in the last week, basically.
Yeah.
Like, even the director James Wan from Aquaman has come out and said, this, to quote him, basically, the kind of filmmaker that I am, even my darker horror films are still very fun. And I like to think that's important. And that's the kind of films I make. Lights Out was another movie of his that I'm here to present as well, is a very fun horror film. And I think Aquaman is a character that a lot of people have made fun of over the years, and I just think it's fun to show a really different, cool, badass side to the character, but at the same time, let's not forget to have fun with it. What's the key word today? What's the word of the day, people? Basic, and also not just that. What's her name? Snyder. Is it Snyder's wife?
Yes.
That's the producer.
Yes.
She came out and said, by the way, in the Flash movie, we're gonna have Cyborg in it, and he's a fun. And they're fun together because the Flash is a fun character. Notice something happening here. DC.
Yeah.
If they are listening to the fans, fantastic. You know what I mean? If you want to make the movies dark and serious, make them the Batman films all day long. Make them like Snyder's films. I'm sorry. Make them like Nolan films all day long.
Right.
And that's the thing. This movie, Batman vs Superman, like the writers and the people behind it were a lot of the same people behind the Nolan series. So somewhere along the line, something happened. The ball was dropped somewhere.
Yeah, the Dark Knight Returns happened. The Dark Knight Rises happens.
Right, exactly. Well, I liked that. That actually had some of it didn't make sense, but it was still fun to watch, man. Bane stole every scene, I thought. He was still cool to...
Well, but I mean, there again, you run the difference between a good performance and a good script behind it.
Right.
Like, I think that The Dark Knight Rises showed where, like, you can draw a straight line from Rises through Man of Steel to Batman Superman. In the sense of they started taking themselves too seriously. Even
Right.
even in, they've got cranes sitting behind this giant, contraption that he's got built up, the desks and the papers and the books, and it's a ridiculous scene, and the acting is fantastic, but there's still this idea, and Bane's standing off to the side knitting whatever it is that he's knitting, but there is still this idea that they want you to take this with tremendous sincerity. There's no hint. They want you to ignore the fact that this is madness on
Right.
so many levels and treat this with complete sincerity. And that, man, we saw what happens when you carry that into a full, what happens if you throw all of these other particular elements at it. This is what happens. And it does not mix.
Exactly. You're trying to mix a Nolan universe with a ship that has a uterus. It doesn't mix. You try to add all this grounded stuff, and then you just go off the walls with stuff that just the normal person's not going to be like, what's happening? Anyway, dude, and not to go too much on a tangent, we'll continue here with the news.
Yeah.
After seeing Batman vs Superman, I went home and I watched a lot of the animated movies that I've missed over the last few years.
So
For example, I watched Batman Bad Blood.
Oh, so good. Is that not so good?
It's so good. And one of the first scene in the movie, you have Batwoman running around shooting, and you have Batman stop her and say, "We don't do that. We are above that." That resonates. It's like, why is there such a disconnect from the people doing the animated movies and the films? And it's simple things like that. You're not going to have – and I don't want to get too much into it because I get why everyone likes the violent Batman. It actually makes a little bit more sense. But it's little things like that where you can change it, just tweak it a little bit, and you're going to please thousands of people. Anyway, we'll continue on. We'll talk about all that later. But I don't know if we have much more Batman, Superman, DC stuff left on the list, but that's kind of the DC stuff for today. We'll get into all Batman, Superman later. But yeah, dude, did you see the news about Blade Runner 2?
Yeah, this was interesting.
Yeah, so I guess you know him as Robin Wright?
Yeah.
Well, then, wait, okay, so that's wait, who's Robin Wright? Because I'm thinking of someone else.
Who are you thinking of?
Okay, did you see that Drax is going to be in it?
Oh my god, I forgot about that news too.
Yes, so help me out. The animal Batista, what's his name?
Dave Bautista.
There you go.
He and Robin Wright, who from House of Cards, we just talked about her in Wonder Woman. That Robin Wright.
Yep. Oh yeah, she's gonna be in Blade Runner 2, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and Batista, what did he do? He tweeted an image with like the origami unicorn.
Origami unicorn.
And it was just like some exciting news coming or something like that.
Yeah, man, he's cool. He's jumping from a Marvel picture to a Bond picture to Blade Runner 2. He knows what kind of genres to stay in because it's weird. There is a crossover with nerds and wrestling. There's a big crossover there.
Oh yeah.
And I think oh wow, my mind just went blank.
The Rock started it.
New Day is taking that to another level. They went Super Saiyan with that.
Literally.
That concept. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh my god, I can't wait to talk about that.
But why hasn't no one just? Is this the first time anyone's noticed that in wrestling? Like,
yes.
Hey, let's go to for example, I there's a local flea market here that I visit. Every once in a while, every other month or so, just to kind of walk around and see what comics and stuff they have there. And it's the same stuff next to each other. It's the comic stuff and the wrestling stuff, like in the same booth. And it's like they get it. They totally understand their bread and butter. It's the same kind of geeky culture.
Yeah.
That loves that kind of stuff. Finally, someone's taking it by the horns, and
here's the thing, like they've had, it's always been kind of a one-way thing. Like we've been fans of wrestling, but the wrestlers have not been us. Right. Until we got Xavier Woods, and he's kind of dragged everybody else out of the woodwork. His YouTube channel Up Down Down is amazing.
You have to, after the show, I'm going to send you to – you don't really listen to Giant Bomb, do you?
Not frequently. Why? What have I missed?
I'm going to have you listen to an episode with Dan Riker, and he talks about for like 30 minutes about how he is in Clash of Clans with all of the guys.
Nice.
And he's friends with all these wrestlers now, and he's like, I don't even understand my life anymore. He goes, me and Cesaro are battling right now, and I got whoever on his side.
Nice.
And he's like, and then, the Miz came and he was talking to me, he was messaging me about how, we have to, they're all in a clan together.
I love it.
They compete with each other, and he's like, my life doesn't make sense anymore. It's just, all of these.
Yeah, and part of Woods' Up Down Down channel, he does a series called was it Superstar Save Point or so, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's always like 2 parts, and it's 10 minutes a pop or something like that, where it's just him sitting down with somebody from the locker room and playing, like he and Ryback played Super Off-Road. Like it's nice. The most random. It's like the most ridiculous stuff. He and Tamina were playing Street Fighter V. Like it's just some of it makes sense and some of it's just really weird.
Dude, there's an audience for that. That crossover is so it's there. I don't understand why no one has got that before.
And I'll tell you what, they've like his Up Down Down merchandise is being sold through the WWE shop.
Yeah.
Like they recognize that, and they're working on that. They're moving towards that.
That was the one thing that I think most people who are not wrestling fans of my friends were like, they were sharing on Facebook. They were like, what the hell's happening in wrestling? Because these guys just came out of a cereal box in Super Saiyan outfits, and one got a stunner. Where have I been my whole, and I was just like, dude, that's gonna get people right back into the door going for these guys. Now tell me, are they still heels, or did they move them over to?
Man, they're just them. Like
that's
what's been great about it. They started as heels with a really crappy, bland gimmick. And they found whatever worked, and they just hauled with it. And like they're kind of supposed to be heels, but you can't boo them because they're just awesome.
Right, they were facing heels. That's where I was like, oh, wait a second. And I was on and off. I had work and a bunch of other things I had to do, so I had it on mute, but I couldn't hear what a lot of them were saying, and then I turned it back on, so I caught like half of it, but I couldn't tell if I was like, did they finally switch them over to like the good guys, because you can't help but cheer for them.
Yeah, and they've just like for the last ever since they brought out the trombone, ever since they brought out Francesca, like they've just run with it, and so they're not worried about being defined. They're just this is just who they are. Whatever.
They got lightning in a bottle. This is this generation's Mankind and Rock and Stone Cold. These guys are the ones that are standing out. Where they went from mid card kind of. They weren't the top people, and I could see in a year or so from now them being like on top. They
had a Raw a couple months ago where they laid out like the top 3 guys. It was Cena and a couple others, and the New Day was standing tall in the ring, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, they're here."
Yeah, they're doing a lot better popular.
That's what happens. You get a big bowl of Boudio's cereal, and that'll fix that right up.
See, that's perfect. That's what they need. They need people with attitude. The the 90s. They need that, and it's done cheesy, but it's done right.
Yeah,
it's the right cheese. But we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take our first break, and I promise we'll get into some more news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got some more news for you. Doctor Strange. Did you see the set photos?
I did. Man, did they not look awesome?
Yeah, they looked amazing.
Yeah, they had Cumberbatch and Chiwetel as Strange and Mordo, and they looked like they're just on the streets in New York. And I was like, well, okay, that was the weird part. It's like they're not.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't them on a set, like on a sound stage or in front of a green screen. This was them in New York, and they weren't grainy like somebody with a long distance camera or something. Like these were like almost official production shots if they weren't actually official.
Yeah, they look really official. They look like and that's the thing. Looking at production photos and stuff like that, you're like, okay, it looks a little odd. They're sitting in the street. I'm sure in the movie it's gonna look awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and their outfits just looks straight up out of the comic.
Oh, it's spot on. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can tell there's just so much attention to detail that Marvel really puts on their characters. And they don't care that it looks weird. They don't care that there's a sorcerer in New York City because God, what's the point of making a Doctor Strange movie if he's not Doctor Strange?
Exactly.
Yeah, they get it. They totally get it. So
Yeah.
hats off to them. So I'm excited for that. Did you see that Speedy Gonzalez, Warner Brother, announced his character to get a feature length animated titled Speedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said it's gonna be like a heist style film with kind of like it's gonna be it's and this was what the article said, and it really made me laugh that they use these words. It's a Robin Hood-esque origin story. I thought, well, yeah, because isn't Speedy Gonzalez kind of like a Robin Hood Zorro sort of character?
He is. Yes. Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. I'm totally in on it. That's cute. Man, I still gotta see Zootopia.
Oh, you have to, man. It's so good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna be seeing it in theater. Just I'm not sure. Maybe this weekend. I'm going to Disney this weekend, so I'm actually pretty excited.
There you go.
I'll come back and let you know if they got any new Force Awakens stuff like
Oh yeah.
in the ride or whatever. But yeah, gonna be doing that. Pretty pumped. My buddy's in town, so it's always a good time. Did you see? Now I thought this trailer was an April Fool's trailer. I had to look at the date.
Yeah.
Swiss Army Man, a trailer for upcoming Daniel Radcliffe film. Okay, where do we begin?
I don't like I got nothing. Like I can't. The only thing I can say is that you have to go actually watch the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer opens up with what's his name? Is it Paul Dano?
Yeah,
great actor. Basically on an island, stranded, goes to hang himself. Now, my theory is that he actually does hang himself and he's dead, and so all this fantasy stuff happens, or he suffers from brain damage from that, and he just hallucinates. But basically, he's hanging himself, and then he sees Daniel Radcliffe's body. And then, for some reason, it's not explained because the trailer's just kind of whimsical at that point. He's dragging the body into, which is actually pretty morbid, into the woods. And suddenly he hears the corpse talk. And it seems like the corpse is not communicating all the time, but every once in a while. So it's kind of like, did he really say that? Did I hear him say that? And he's farting and he's passing gas. And it turns into this, like, Castaway type film where Daniel Radcliffe is basically Wilson, and Paul Dano is, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
So, and okay, this looks extremely.
Except you couldn't jet ski off of Wilson's decomposing gas.
Yeah. So you know what? If he is hallucinating to the point, where he's doing that kind of stuff, I want what he's having. God, it looks like a fun ride. I don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but that's definitely something I want to watch on Netflix or something.
It's definitely something to watch, but it is, man. It's so weird.
I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I was looking at the date.
But, oh man, Daniel's done a lot of those. Did you ever see Horns?
No, but you know what I did see? Victor Frankenstein over the weekend.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. If you get it on Redbox, it's not that bad.
There you go.
Max Landis wrote it, I think. So I've been kind of really digging a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, that's right. He did. That's right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say modern day telling of.
It's kind of like what they did with Downey's Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
Right. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a new story to tell. It's interesting to see how. He plays, Daniel Radcliffe plays Igor, so it's kind of like an interesting take on that. I really liked it. I watched it with some family, because I was kind of looking for what kind of family film could we watch, not something that's gonna we started to watch The Hateful Eight, and I was like, oh, this is probably not good.
Really? What was a film by Quentin Tarantino? What was your first guess?
Right, and so to not make it awkward, I was like, "Hey, is this kind of boring for you guys? Because this is kind of long and winded. Maybe you guys can watch it later, by yourself." I was visiting my mom and whatnot, and they're like, "Yeah, let's watch something a little bit more fun." So I put that on, and it was pretty good. I was like, "We can't go wrong with this. It's Victor Frankenstein's a family-friendly kind of. Well, I don't know. It's not really family-friendly. There's a lot of corpse and stuff that probably
Right.
scares little kids. But it's like, it wasn't that bad. So, definitely, Redbox for $1 or rent it or whatever.
There you go.
For sure. Or if it's ever on Netflix, check it out. Where are we at? Okay. Oh, did you see this? Okay, so apparently Netflix is making a movie about the people behind National Lampoon.
Really? Do tell.
And it's called Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure, that makes sense.
And it's Will Forte as Doug Kinney.
Okay.
Domhnall Gleeson, which is everything, as Henry Beard.
Okay.
And it also stars Joel McHale as Chevy Chase, which is kind of weird. And I forget who plays Steve Buscemi, but someone plays Steve Buscemi.
Wait, Steve Buscemi? You mean John Belushi?
John Belushi. Sorry, what am I talking about?
I
read it, and yeah, that's weird. Yeah, so it's gonna be a movie about that. I love that kind of stuff. I like being a fly on the wall during that time period, during any time period where you hear the behind the scenes story.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we just read a book, and we'll get into it in a little bit, Console Wars, and it's just, I want to find more stuff like that.
Yeah.
A fly on the wall of a time period that I really enjoyed, or behind the scenes of a movie that I really enjoyed. I think what I'm going to do one of these weeks is pick the behind the scenes story, the tell-all of the SNL. I don't know who wrote it or who did it, but there's a book out there where it's like, this is what it was like season 1. And it's a tell-all from all the cast members.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I hear it's, like, fascinating. So that will be probably one of my picks coming up. Because I can't wait to break that open. All right, so I've got some sad news. The guy who starred and voiced Admiral Akbar passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Beresfield. Yeah, he passed away. He was 91 years old. Ooh, yeah. So that happened a few days ago. But let's see. There's really no way to segue out of that.
No.
But
91, man, you can't beat that.
Yeah, no. Did you see that? I don't know. I read an article about The Last of Us is still trapped in development hell. I guess plans. Here, the article on IGN said plans to make the movie adaptation of Naughty Dog's franchise Uncharted, The Last of Us, and The Last of Us are still in the works, though neither will be hitting the big screen anytime in the future, or near future. During a press event showcasing gameplay for Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, IGN had a chance to speak with game director Neil Druckmann, who also wrote The Last of Us movie script, and basically they asked for updates for the two projects. According to him, Naughty Dog has only been somewhat involved in the development of the Uncharted film, which is only currently slated for June 30th, 2017. So it doesn't look like it's hitting anytime soon, and that will probably be pushed a little bit.
Right. Well, I mean, we've got to see how well these do. You've got Warcraft, you've got Assassin's Creed, you've got Uncharted.
Yep.
I mean, even if they're not video game-ish, like Uncharted is basically a modern-day Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Uncharted should do well. I think that movie can be translated into a film very well.
Right.
We have gone away from video games. I think, what old people think of video games like Sonic and stuff like that. You can't really make movies out of that. Maybe an animated movie, but not like, let's take everyone and make a $bazillion movie, like they tried to do with Mario. Uncharted is an actual good story. The Last of Us it's an actual good story. Warcraft has so much lore. It could be its own, in 10 years from now. My dream is that there is, a Warcraft or 2 movies every year like they're doing with Star Wars. Like it could be on that level if they really wanted it to. But it has to be done well. And my only fear with Warcraft, honestly, is it looks too much CGI.
Yeah.
And they've had time to perfect it. I've noticed in the last trailer, the orcs look so much better than they did before. And I don't know if because they've had time to tweak it. But we'll see. That's my one fear, is that it's too much CGI. But we'll see. I'm still pumped for it. When does that come out again?
Warcraft? It's this summer sometime, isn't it?
Oh my god.
June, July, something, I thought.
I can't wait, dude. I just hope that's good. If it is, I'll be seeing that in the theater. I don't know how many times.
There you go.
That'll definitely get me excited to play the new expansion. But to get in some TV news,
Let me catch it. June 10th.
June 10th. Awesome. Yeah, that's a few months. Some TV news. Did you see the season finale of Star Wars Rebels?
I haven't seen like the last half of the season. But
okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard I was like, okay, this will be cool, da da da, whatever. And then I heard they're like, oh yeah, and in the finale there's gonna be Darth Maul. I was like, all right, stop, I have to go watch this quick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just haven't seen pretty much the last episode. It's a two-parter. I think it's like an hour long. I heard it was really good. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that next week. I'm sure both of us will catch up by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was confirmed for the finale and he was in it. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And what's cool is the previews that I've seen. He is not a Jedi, of course, but he's also not bad. He hates the Sith, so he is pretty much on the side of the rebels here. How awesome would it be if season 3 Darth Maul is sitting in the ship with them as the brooding Vegeta? Wrap your head around that. That is, I haven't seen the season finale, so I don't know if something happens to him or whatever. But wrap your head around that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is fucking cool to me. That is what I want to see moving forward. Hopefully. All right. Speaking of Vegeta, you take the next one.
Well, I thought this was interesting. This was not a series I was big on, but I know like anybody that I know that watches anime is like, oh my god, FLCL was amazing. And Toonami has announced a partnership with Production IG to make 2 new seasons of Fooly Cooly.
I'll be honest, never heard of it. What is this?
I've heard of it, and I tried to watch it, and I don't know. I'm really weird when it comes to like what kind of anime I like, because there are some where I'm like, oh well, of course you like that. It was stuff like Dragon Ball. It's like, well, of course everybody likes that, except for the people who don't. But then somebody will be like, yeah, and you should watch like some of these other things. Like Death Note was really fun. I started watching Full Metal Alchemist, and and it's but this was one that it was only a few episodes, and I was just coming off of Afro Samurai. And I was like, well, I'll watch this. And like, I watched the first episode, and I was like, what did I even just watch? And not in the good way. So I mean, maybe it was just where I was at the time. Like, it's the same thing with me in video games sometimes, where it's like I was just not in the right mind space for it. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you got to get in the right mind space for Bravely Default, because that game is. I remember you weren't one time. You were like, nope, not in the right place for this. Because the sequel comes out, I think, in a week.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, funny you mentioned Full Metal Alchemist real fast. I saw a picture on the internet. You know Snapchat where they have the face swap?
Yeah.
I saw a picture where it had a dog and a little girl and had the face swap thing, and like apparently that was a big inside joke for people who saw Full Metal Alchemist.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
And then I looked at what it was and I was like, oh god, that's screwed up.
Not cool.
Yeah. That's one series you told me about. I need to see. That's on Netflix, right? Or no, it's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, but I think almost all of them are on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
My thing is, I'm one of those people. I need the English. I'm sorry, I don't care. Bite me.
Isn't the Final Fantasy? We'll get to this in a little bit. Isn't the Final Fantasy short anime thingy? Hasn't it come out yet? Like the first episode?
First episode has. I've only found it in Japanese.
Only in Japanese.
Not even with English subtitles. Maybe it was just because it was just up. I don't know. I haven't gone and looked back since because I've been busy with some other stuff. But
yeah, that's odd. It should have had. No, that doesn't make sense. They announced like it's live now.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be in English, so or at least subtitles.
Or at least subtitles, because the clip they showed had subtitles.
Right.
Like I can
exactly.
For something like that, I can do subtitles because it's 6 short episodes. I'm like, yeah, I could do that with subtitles, no problem.
Right. I need to catch up. Well, I'm at the should I catch up with Dragon Ball Z or wait for the English? Because I just saw what they've been doing in the anime, like one of the newest episodes, and he goes into the blue. The movie universe. It's very clear is separate from the anime. Even in this new Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Because the way some of the same things happen,
but
just
differently.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're ready for a break, though. We'll be back. We'll get more into some TV news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See y'all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before we get into some more TV news, I kind of want to talk about Dragon Ball Super for a second. I've been watching a little bit of the show. I need to catch up, but I'm kind of on the fence. Should I wait? Should I not? But some of the stuff I've noticed, because I've kind of spoiled it for myself a little bit of what's happening this season. And it's very clear that they are telling a different story than what they did in the two new Dragon Ball Z movies or Super movies, where it's the Frieza movie and the Battle of the Gods, where those characters came to Earth, things happened differently. Super Saiyan, Goku and Vegeta don't turn their hair blue until just now, but it happens very differently. What I've noticed, and I'm probably completely wrong, so if people you've been watching Dragon Ball Super and I'm wrong about this, I'm sorry, but what it seems like's happening is there is a multiverse now for Dragon Ball. So, because you keep thinking, how powerful can these people get, and what else could be out there if they're literally fighting gods? And so basically, I guess there's a multiverse now. So there's a Saiyan from another universe that comes in, and he looks very similar to like a young Vegeta. And so anyway, him and Vegeta are fighting. Vegeta's hair turns blue. And the very clever thing they do is he go, Super Saiyan Blue. And Vegeta doesn't acknowledge it. He just continues fighting. So now it's kind of been called Super Saiyan Blue. And that makes a lot more sense than Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Right.
That makes sense. So now it's just, it's a different level. Now that they're Super Saiyan God, it's Super Saiyan Blue. Who knows? It might be green in a week or two for the next level. But I thought it was pretty cool. I want to catch up, man. I am so glad that we're getting new Dragon Ball. We're getting new Dragon Ball. We're going to have a Power Rangers movie. Like, our childhood is back. Ninja Turtles. Oh, man. We got shitty Batman, Superman, but it's Batman. So, we're like, dude, we're going to get Spider-Man and a Cap. It's a time to be alive right now. It really is.
Age of the Geek.
Age of the Geek, for real. All right. So, Powers, did you see the trailer for the second season?
I did. It looks like it's going to pick up where the first one left off.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. Did you?
I did. And I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see the end of it, so don't tell me. Well, I guess they spoiled it.
Yeah, the whole story of the second season is titled about the end of the first season. So.
Right. Yeah. In the poster, I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway. But yeah. So yeah, its release date was announced for May 31st. 3 episodes to be released simultaneously. Over 7, and then the 7 episodes will be released weekly, which is cool. I think I really wish they would do it all at once, but I guess they're like halfway in between Netflix and Hulu.
Right.
The way they're doing it. Iron Fist, Jessica Henwick from Game of Thrones and The Force Awakens cast as Colleen Wing in Netflix series. So,
Colleen Wing, yeah.
Yeah. Wing. Sorry. So she's joined the series for Iron Fist, which is pretty cool.
That's what I love about that. I want to talk about this for a second, because Colleen Wing is to Iron Fist what Misty Knight is to Luke Cage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know how up you were on that. Like, if I'm telling you stuff you already know, stop me. But they, like, just imagine for a second, you get Luke Cage and Iron Fist in Heroes for Hire. And then you get Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, and they have their own, like, they were a partnership at one point. They were the Daughters of the Dragon, if I remember right, was what they were called.
Okay.
And that's, come on, you want to, with Black Widow and Jessica Jones and even Wonder Woman in the Batman Superman movie, we've been constantly trying to just kick down this door of strong female leads. We had Rey in The Force Awakens, like all of the, we've really been starting to elevate that game, and Jessica Jones took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So how do you go beyond that? You get Colleen Wing and Misty Knight in their own series get this as a partnership. You will blow the doors off the building. And it will be just absolutely amazing, and I want that because that will be so cool.
Yeah, call it Heroes for Hire and just have them two in it. Seriously. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. have them have their own series. Um, God, you just blew my mind. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, that's like that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. It totally would. Man, God, just the stuff Netflix has been doing. It's on another level. Like
Yeah.
Daredevil was. I can't recommend that enough to people. When that was the one thing coming out of Batman and Superman. A lot of my friends were like, "Should I go see it? Should I whatever?" And I was like, I don't like to do this that often, but dude, go watch Daredevil season 2. You will watch all of that, blow through all of that, and you'll have a much better time and a much $8 spent over the freaking $17 or whatever I spent on
Right.
Batman or Superman. Like you'll have a better time. And you're gonna be at your house and do Netflix and chill and relax.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is, you look at one medium and you're like, they're just doing it right, they're doing it great, and I wish the other was doing that. I wish I could say that about DC right now, but I can't.
And I mean, again, there's the difference between being serious and being fun. Fun does not mean Jim Carrey comedy, which we haven't seen for 20 years. But
I'm pretty sure they tried that in Batman Superman. I'm sure they went full Riddler at the end of that.
A little bit.
Man, and that's the thing. You're absolutely right, and that's the thing. Daredevil's fun, dude. There's that hallway scene or the freaking
the stairwell, like that whole building,
scene.
like it was a shot right out of the Raid. Like that was crazy. That was like somebody watched, like they sat down and they were like, okay, we got the hallway scene, which we definitely stole from Oldboy, but now we're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch Oldboy and the Raid and the Raid 2 and Dread, and we're gonna make another fight scene. That was exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, and when he was like, one of the other scenes where he's like, "You want the Punisher or you want the big bad Punisher?" And he stands up. He's like, "I'll give you the Punisher." That was fun. Like that was exciting. That made me like not want to turn it off. And I was like, "Guess I'm gonna be up for another hour because that just fucking hooked me." And that's fun. Like that's what you want. I wanted to stand up and be like, "Yes, that's Superman. That's Batman." And then the only time I did that in the movie, people clapped and cheered, was Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
because they did it right. They made her fun, and it wasn't like, hey, happy-go-lucky. I think people just screw that up, and it's not the same. But anyway, I digress. Talk about the next one.
Yeah, we got some news about Class. Class is the Doctor Who spinoff that they're doing over on the BBC. They've cast a bunch of people who've never been in anything before, really. Or at least very little. Greg Austin, Fadi El Sayed, Sophie Hopkins, Vivian Opara, and Catherine Kelly, who is going to play she's kind of the elder of the group-ish. They've described this, it all takes place in a high school, like a boarding school, high school kind of deal. And they've basically described it as British Buffy.
Oh, okay.
I am totally on board with that. Like, you want to sell a series to me? That's all you need. British Buffy. Yeah. Done. Sold. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is young Giles. I'm in. Sign me up. Like.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, have you been watching Legends of Tomorrow?
I haven't. That's the only one I'm sad that I'm not caught up on.
Where they asked, I forget his name, Rip Hunter. Someone mentioned something about him, and he's like, "Well, he's like a doctor." Well, kinda. He's a doctor. Like it's just so on the nose. It's so perfect, man. You got to catch up with that. There's some really cool twists and turns they take. Man, that show is so much fun. It's and that was the other thing, man. We should just title this Batman vs Superman because we just keep bringing it up. But that was one thing. I sat down with my buddy who probably enjoyed the film the most out of all of us. He still didn't like it. He nailed it perfectly when he said it was a massive disappointment, and there was so many missed opportunities. That's the thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of cool stuff they just didn't do right. And one of the things he said was, why aren't they looking at CW and going, they're getting it. They're making these things. They know when to be serious with Arrow. They know when to have fun as well. And so, one of his things was looking at DC Legends of Tomorrow, and he was like, just look how much fun that is. I forgot what I was talking about real fast for that reference with the Doctor. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll move on. There was a point there, but I completely forgot it.
But just the idea of like drama and enjoyment do not have to be such polar opposites.
Exactly. Like there can be some dark in the episode, there can be some dark in the movie, but there can be some fun movies where you're cheering for them. And you know, they do that so well with Legends of Tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's why there are things called acts in a screenplay. Like this, you can't do everything all one tone all the time. I don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works. If it's done, I mean, if you're going to go that route, you have to fully commit to it. You have to be completely committed to that. And it can work. It can absolutely work.
But see, the thing is, and this is where I think Marvel nailed it, was they realized not all their characters are dark and brooding like Bruce Banner. Some of them are fun. And so when you can't just broad stroke an entire universe, the DC universe, when there's so many fun characters in there.
Right.
Like the Flash, like I think they're right. If they mean what they say when they're going, nope, this is a fun character, they have to do that. Real fast before we go to break, did you see that in the Flash they're going to introduce an Earth 2 Laura Lance?
Really? Oh, is she going to be Black Siren?
I don't know. It didn't say that in the article, but it basically said in the Flash they're going to introduce an Earth 2 Laura Lance. So I guess the actress is going to play Laura Lance, and she's going to be in that, which is super fucking cool.
Very rad.
Yeah, and see you know, they blend that so well, and they introduced the New 52 so well. They introduced the multiverse, and I get that shows have so much more time to do that, but it should be done. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get back, talk about video games, get into some reviews. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and let's jump right into some video game news. Apparently, they leaked. Well, it wasn't leaked. They showed some new Pokemon Sun and gameplay footage. They announced that they were going to, and it really was just stuff that we already saw, but they put it in a Japanese variety show for kids.
Yay!
Yeah, man, I can't wait for that game to come out though. That and Go.
I'm looking forward to Go more than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm playing through Ruby. No. What is it? Ruby Sapphire? No. God, the red one. I just forgot what it's called.
Omega Ruby.
Omega Ruby, yeah, or Omega Ruby and X. And every month they have a new legendary, and I forget which one is this.
Jirachi.
Jirachi, yeah, that's it. So I picked that up. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for Go. I can't wait for all that. Apparently, Nintendo Go, they're starting field tests in Japan. Did you see this?
Lucky bastards.
Yeah, dude. Man, I gotta get a new phone soon. I might pick up the. I don't know. I'm torn because I know the new iPhone and whatnot will probably come out around September or so. I might just wait for that and then start. But if Pokemon Go comes out like in a month or two, I'll have to jump on a 6S or maybe like the SE or something like that. But I need a new phone. Stat. So it's just it's so much. I don't know. It's so much money that I don't know. I know I won't regret it, but I got to get it for that game.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad that I'm like more concerned with getting it for that game than like communicating with people?
Well, I mean, we can communicate with people through anything anymore. Like that's not what phones are for anymore.
Right. And to me, I'm just like, if I can call people and I can text people and I can do internet and Facebook or whatever, then I'm good. I don't need to upgrade. But I want to be able to play that. So yeah, and I had no need because I have an iPad and all that other stuff, and so like I don't use my phone for gaming, but that is absolutely what I'll be doing on for that.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we got some Call of Duty news. 2016 reportedly to include Modern Warfare 1 and 2 as a pre-order bonus.
Sure.
They're getting really bad with pre-order stuff.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like those are regarded as two of the best in the franchise ever. So
and you're making it a pre-order bonus.
Well, but I mean, as a way to add that in and say, hey, look, do you guys want to have a way to play those on your current gen systems?
They should. I imagine this will be a free pre-order bonus so that they can say, if you want this, it's $10 each or something. And that's cool, I guess. As long as they offer it for you to play, like pay for it if you don't want. I don't know. It makes sense, I guess. I just hate pre-ordering. I think it's stupid.
I love pre-ordering.
No. I don't do any of that anymore. I'll order it maybe a day or two before it comes out through the PlayStation Store. I don't deal with that GameStop nonsense. The only time I went in there this year really was to get the VR.
Was your VR, yeah.
Yeah,
I love my pre-ordering because it's like layaway. Like I can just go in and put down 10, 20 at a time.
Oh, that's true. You can do that with Amazon now too, apparently.
Oh, can you now? Interesting.
Yeah. Apparently they'll take like for the VR they'll take $100 and then you just pay on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
We got Rockstar. Studio says Grand Theft Auto 6 is currently in development.
Who's show of hands? Who's surprised?
Right, exactly. The most selling game ever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so that's of course. I was listening to the Beyond podcast real fast.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they wanted to do Japan really bad. Apparently, they went there.
GTA Japan.
Yeah, they went there.
Nice.
They looked at it. They wanted to do it really bad for 5, and they couldn't wrap their head around it, and so they ended up doing New York.
Well,
but that would be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean that's like a GTA game doesn't really work that way though. Like
right, yeah.
The city's just not built for it.
Right, and it's very GTA. Let's be honest, very American game. Like, get guns and shoot things and blah. It's very much that. I think it'd be interesting if the next one was like a female protagonist.
I'd
flip
be down
it on
with
its
that.
head.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, they'd be different, and female protagonists in Japan would be crazy. It would be awesome. I don't know. I'm totally down for it set somewhere else besides America.
Yakuza 7, here we come.
Yeah, exactly. We already went over Pokemon Go. We got Rocket League baseball mode coming this month. So that's gonna be cool. Basketball? What? See, I can't read today. Can't read any day. Yeah, basketball mode coming this month. I saw that where they have the big hoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the. Did you get the Batmobile?
I did not get the Batmobile.
I have the Batmobile and the Back to the Future time machine. I'm a sucker. That game's fun though.
Hey, that's how you do microtransactions right.
Yep.
They've absolutely nailed it. Like, here's a thing that you genuinely do not need, that is completely optional, and that will in no way affect your performance whatsoever. It's just there to look cool and do absolutely nothing else, and that's how you do it.
Oh yeah, exactly. My favorite thing about it says back in time.
Out of time.
Out of time. That's it. Out of time on the license plate. Like, that's awesome. Oh yeah. But Sega company completes acquisition of Atlas. Will publish of Atlas games. All Atlas games moving forward. Sega released statement clarifying that it will not intrude upon Atlas creative flow.
Yeah,
that's a big pickup.
Yeah, it is. Well, like they bought them years ago. Mm-hmm. Or like they brought them in under the umbrella of Sega, whatever it was. Right. But it's only just now finalized. Like it's like now Atlas is like a wholly owned subsidiary of Sega. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to make sure, they're like, look, we know you guys really, really love the Persona games. We're not going to screw with them. The only thing that we're going to have to do with them is our logo on the box.
Right.
So I thought that was reassuring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to play the new Persona coming out. I keep forgetting it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out. So I'm pumped. It's it's weird because for the longest time I wasn't the guy who played the JRPGs and stuff like that. It just wasn't me. I kind of dabbled in it, and now I'm really getting into them. So it's kind of weird. Usually it's the opposite. People were way into them back in the day, and they were like, it's not the same anymore. And here I am like, hey, I want to try this out. It's really fun.
Hey, it's what I was talking about. Sometimes you're just in a different mindset.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Okay, cool. We got Capcom company announces new Mega Man and Monster Hunter titles for mobile platforms coming March 2017.
Hey. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, what is
like,
that? Why mobile? Come on, you can't even put it on the 3DS. You can't give us some Mega Man on the 3DS.
are you expect them to do something new with Mega Man? Where have you been the last decade?
That's what I don't understand. It's like Monster Hunter makes sense, but why not Mega Man?
Because Capcom, when it comes to Mega Man, Capcom is following the Konami business plan.
Right.
Of, hey, we hear what people are saying. We know what people will buy and what products will make money. That's why we're telling them to go screw themselves and not making those products.
Wow, that's crazy.
I
Yeah,
have
because you have what, Mighty Number 9 coming out?
Mighty Number 9 is going to be awesome if it ever
Yeah.
eventually releases.
Right.
I'm
if
sorry,
that
I love
releases.
Kenji to death, but just, man, I mean, it's been
Well,
delayed so many times, but I know I'm with you on the whole. I would rather it be delayed and done than
mhm.
not and not.
Yep.
But so that'll come out and that'll scratch that Mega Man itch, because it is a Mega Man clone. And nobody's ever really hidden that fact. They're like, hey,
Right.
look, this is a side-scrolling kind of shooter where you acquire the abilities of your enemies. Like they wink, wink. Like,
Yep.
but okay, sure, cool, whatever. So that'll come out. And they're doing the Resident Evil 2 remake, which will be neat. That will be cool.
Mhm.
But like, come on, man, Mega Man Legends 3, is it so much to ask?
Yeah.
Like, they were making it, they were building it, and then they decided, no.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why?
It's
Why?
crazy.
Well, because that's why.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. It just sucks.
Have another Legacy collection for the 3DS. You know what? Have like 26 of these already.
Yep. Just keep reselling them.
Don't need another one.
Yep. We got. Did you see this God of War 4 artwork apparently leaked? Spurs rumors of the upcoming sequel to be Norse mythology.
Sure, why not? Viking Kratos? I'm in.
See, the picture they saw, he looks a little bit too much like Kratos. I'd rather him like be a straight up Viking.
Well, I mean,
Uh, he
yeah,
looks out
but
of place. I don't know.
I know, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't care.
Is
'Cause
Kratos like that? I guess he is that. He's pretty iconic, I guess, for PlayStation.
I think that's why.
Right. Yeah.
So, hey, you know what I mean, he killed all the Greek gods. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the picture looked odd. That was like very uh, like it was a lot of green. I guess I don't know. It just looked more like he was in the World of Warcraft.
Right. I didn't like that's where everybody were like, this means Norse mythology. I'm like, this isn't any Norse mythology I'm familiar with.
Right. I was like, okay, whatever this is, it looks like World of Warcraft.
Right.
Like you gotta kill the 20 plants and then around this big giant plant.
Oh.
That's what it looked like to me. But yeah, we got Bethesda developer announces E3 showcase for Sunday, June 12th.
Yeah, they're doing another one this year.
Yeah, makes sense though. I like that.
I wonder what they're gonna announce. Like they'll we've got Dune, we did Dune. We have Doom coming out what now ish, right?
Yep, Doom soon. Yeah, it's coming out this month, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. I'll look that up.
I mean, I'm sure they'll be talking about DLC for it. I'm sure there'll be an update for Fallout 4, but
it's
like
the 13th of next month.
next month, okay.
But close.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what else? What else is Bethesda working on? What else is in the pipeline here? I'm sure some more content for Elder Scrolls Online, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd. It really is. I thought they were going to wait a year or two to come out, maybe right before the new Elder Scrolls or something. They would do their own conference. To me, it doesn't make much sense. I don't think they have too much coming up. Dishonored. What would they talk about?
I mean, I guess that would be the centerpiece.
Yeah, Dishonored. Maybe we'll get a tease at the end and we'll get the name of like the next Elder Scrolls. Because we know it's happening. Like, let's not like pretend it's not.
Right.
But they're the kings of not announcing it until like that year.
Right. That's the other thing. Like, if there's a new Elder Scrolls, it will not be before next year.
If it is before next year, then they have two different people working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. that would be crazy if they were like, oh, by the way, it's next year. That might be a little worrying too, because usually they take their time.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, let's get into a lot of game news here. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Final Fantasy, man.
Oh, I love this. Oh, I want to go back and rewatch this event. I loved it so much.
Yeah. Our boys Greg Miller and Tim Geddes. Yeah, Tim Geddes. I knew his last name. I don't know why I didn't take a second to get it. Yeah. They hosted this event last week, and it was the big reveal. Apparently, GameSpot leaked, two of their big news things. Basically, the release date, which was kind of a bummer. But I listened to them actually talk about like, what did you think of that? And they're like, that happens. We work for IGN. We know that kind of stuff happens. We don't hate them for it. We had a lot of cool stuff to show you and a lot more news than that. So it didn't really, it didn't change things. And I really didn't think it did either. It was probably one of the best conferences I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was so well put together.
It was, and they are not, they've been in the spotlight. They know how to talk to fans. They know what fans want to hear. And Greg Miller's hilarious, and Tim Geddes is just, you get him. He's cool. He seems like one of you. And I thought it was really well put together. And Tim Geddes is the guy in there. He's played Final Fantasy his whole life. He loves it. He's been obsessed with it. And Greg Miller is kind of the person like me, where you've only dabbled in it or maybe know about it, and that's it. And so, I thought that was a really cool, like, here's what the game is for you, here's what the game is for you, where you should get your hooks in. And I loved the little jabs. Like, they made fun of themselves about talking about GameSpot leaking stuff. And, they're fully aware of it, and they ran with it, and I thought it was really cool. But let's get into it. So, right off the bat, what did you think of it?
When I saw the release date, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. September 30th, that's going to be awesome. It's not like a full holiday wait.
Right.
So, hey, that's cool.
That's what we're going to be playing right before the holiday.
Yeah, and that's, like, you're going to be in charge of notes. I'm going to teach you how to record. Like, you're going to have put this together, because I was watching this gameplay, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have to quit my job. I'm going to have to put new locks on the doors. Like, I'm just not coming out of my cave when I get this. Like, I cannot. And, like, I watched it, like, an hour after it ended. I had other stuff going on, so I had to go back and rewatch it. And I saw, like, oh, hey, and then, like, the Super Collector's Deluxe Edition, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go broke. And they're like, oh, you can only get it from the Square Enix store right now. And I was like, okay, well, I have to go, oh, they're already sold out. Of course they are.
Yep.
Like, oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, that was sold out real fast. I think you can still get the steel case box one, right?
Well, yeah, like I think it's the deluxe edition, which is something that, like, it used to be the collector's edition, but then they bumped up the collector's edition. There's, right. You have the $60 one, the $100 one, and then the $250 one. And I
couldn't justify paying the price for Wii U.
I watched that whole presentation, and I was like, okay, shut up and take my money. I was so ready to double down on that. I was like, I'll do it. And they were it was like, oh, they're sold out. And part of me was so bummed out, but this little voice in my wallet was going, whew.
Right, exactly. Freaking, it's almost the price of a freaking Xbox. Yeah. But dude, it looks amazing.
I can't wait. Like, they showed, like, I love the real worldness of it. Like, they have found a way to meld, like, modern day stuff, so much so that Audi is making a car based on the one that they drive, and the fantasy-ness of this world, of the idea of crystals and of summons and chocobos, for God's sake.
Oh yeah,
you can drift on your chocobo. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So
Tim Geddes, he loves Fast and Furious. Yeah. Man, like, that's one of the best things about it, is it has this weird blend of, like you said, modern day, but like fantasy. And so that's what's so weird, is like, you have all of these, like anime characters on a bro trip.
Yeah.
And they're fighting monsters, and it's like this, and then all of a sudden the Stand By Me song hits.
I just
threw my money at the screen. I just thought this is like on some fucking hero. This is just Kojima type shit. That I was watching.
Yes.
And when that Stand By Me, like I can't say that enough. When that Stand By Me song came on, I was like, yep, I'm in. I was in already, but this has got me. I want to go on a road trip. I want to like hang out with these guys in the game, and they're playing cards together. They're just seem like buddies, and it's like there's a cool story here, and I need to know it. That's the best. It looks like such a cool story. So much so, dude, like you said, there's a 5-episode anime prequel.
Yeah.
There's a feature-length CGI movie, Killsgrave.
Kingsglaive.
Oh, Kingsgrave? Jesus Christ. That has, Sean Bean in it, Lena Headey, and Aaron Paul.
Yeah, like that cast is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was, and they had them actually there to talk about it. So, there was so much production to this with like, here's all these announcements and all this stuff. They even had a demo. Did you play the demo?
I did play the demo. Like, it's a straightforward, like, there's not really a lot to it, but that's not surprising.
Right. Did you unlock the secret stuff?
I found a couple of them. I haven't found them all yet. I know I'm missing a couple things.
Well, I didn't realize it until I went and watched the videos afterwards. There was all this cool extra stuff.
Yeah.
But, I thought that was pretty cool. It's very straightforward. Here's how it controls. Here is kind of what the fighting is like. And I thought it was good. I thought it was solid.
It's basically their way of doing a tutorial and getting that out of the way before you get the game.
Right, yeah, you're in this dream sequence, and not until the end you're like the actual like character.
Yeah.
But you're a kid running around, and I thought it was really cool.
And it's not any actual part of the game.
Right.
Like they didn't take a section and be like, okay, and you'll do this, and so you'll see it again. No, this is its own little thing that they built. And it's as much a tech demo as it is an actual gameplay demo. It's like, hey, look at this world. Look at what this can do. Look at how ridiculously beautiful the raindrops splashing on the water is. Like, it's insane.
Oh, yeah, the environmental trailer that they showed for the game.
I
was like, what are we looking at? Is this France? Where is it? Just looked beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, I was excited for this back when it was Versus 13 10 years ago. Like, I was so one of those guys where, when GameStop was first doing, like, they just got their PlayStations in, and so you had the trailers for Metal Gear Solid 4 and Final Fantasy Versus 13. I was like, I cannot wait for both of those games. And I know it took a decade, but I look at what they've done with this. I mean, the mini game, the little like pinball style meets Gauntlet Legends mini game is going to be a standalone app, for God's sake.
Like, yeah, they have put so much stuff behind this.
Yeah, and they're building. They saw what happened with 7, and they said, hey, look, we built a world, and then over time we crafted things outside of it. They did Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core and Advent Children, and there was all of these things you could spin off from it just because you had a mythology, you had a world, you had something that you could have history for and a future for. And so they kind of applied that with 10 and 10.2, and then they did that with 13 and 13.2 and 13.3. And they went, no, hang on. Too much disconnect, too much noise. We start at the core, and we say, okay, we have these characters and these characters. And then we tell their story. And that's what Brotherhood is. It's the prequel. It's the Bros prequel. And why are these guys such good friends? And Kingsglaive is the King prequel. Mm-hmm. It's going to kind of be Brotherhood Kingsglaive 15.
Right.
And I looked at this and I thought, they got it. They absolutely got it. It's Kingdom Hearts gameplay, which is fine by me. I don't need traditional turn-based. I'm okay without that. We have
got
moved,
Persona for that now. Yeah,
we have moved beyond old school ATB stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm okay. I'm totally fine with that as long as it flows and it works. And based on the Platinum demo, it does. I'm in. Sold.
Right.
and looking at everything else that they've built with this, that's why I'm looking at this and I'm going, yeah, I would have picked up the collector's edition because they've got it. Yeah. They've genuinely got it. They took this thing that looked cool at first, and they took their time. And I know there's been a team that's been working on this ever since. Mm-hmm. They've had 14 and they've got the 7 remake coming up and 13 and everything else that's gone on between it. There has been a team working on this game ever since, and they finally built this thing out of it, and it's awesome and it's fantastic, and I cannot freaking wait.
Oh yeah. Here, man. Yeah, I'm really pumped. I was watching it and I was just like, this is, you're the fan that's always been a fan. I'm the fan that's only dabbled, and it looks right up my alley too. Like, this is where I think this is where Final Fantasy is going to do what they were trying to do with 13, yes, and get that broader audience. And they put all their eggs in the basket with 13. They did 3 of them, and I really think that if this one takes off like I think it's going to, this is the one where, yes, let's see 2 more sequels if it's a good story and everything else. This is where you have that platform to tell that many stories with it. The world just looks awesome.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. It looks like they've learned from 13 to not do linear. I mean, it looks like you have, it looks like it's going to be what it always was, which was, hey, you have, your story mission is down here. You do have to get to point B at some point. Mm-hmm. Instead of, like, with 13, where it was, hey, you're here, the only place you can go is point B. Right. That was the biggest problem that I know a lot of fans had, myself in particular, was there's no exploration. And it's not like with a lot of, you always start these games point A to point B. But then once the world opens up, not only does it not take long for there suddenly to be a world map, but before too much longer, you have this huge expanse that you can explore. It wasn't until almost the very end of 13 where you were able to do much of any exploration at all. And that just sucked.
Yeah, that's what I heard. See, I didn't play.
Yeah, it was 13. And I mean, gameplay wise, it was fine. If you put aside, if you put aside the idea of a Final Fantasy game, it was not terrible. Right. But because they build so heavily on it's a Final Fantasy game, that kind of screwed everything up. Yeah. 13.3, I actually enjoyed. I liked Lightning Returns. I thought it was a really solid, functional game. But again, it was definitely more Kingdom Hearts than Final Fantasy, and I'm okay with that as long as you find a way to blend it in a better fashion. And 15 looks like that's what they've done. They've taken that gameplay, but they've taken the open world, and it looks like this. And again, we go back to blending the idea of, you have cars and chocobos. Like, that's how do you make that work? Well, they have. Okay, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But when I heard that Stand By Me, and he's like sitting on the ground, and they're all joking around, and like you said, they walk in and they play the pinball machine. It was like, I want to know these guys' story. I want to know these characters. I want to know what kind of world they're in. And let's not forget, at the end, the car turned into a fucking plane.
It was the bat plane, man. Like, that was
like,
insane.
Blew my mind. Didn't expect that.
No, and I was like, they get in the car and like it starts unfolding, and I'm like, am I seeing this? Am I really watching? Am I seeing this?
Yeah, it's super cool, and I think this is really going to be the franchise where they get everyone in, and they get them in and playing, and I can't wait. Yeah, I blew through the demo. I was like, this is fun. Like, I just can't wait.
Yeah, and hats off to Florence and the Machine for that Stand By Me cover. It was really awesome. And they had Final Fantasy royalty in that crowd.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was what was awesome. They were like, hey, by the way, here's and just pointing out, I was like, these are the people who were involved at the start, and I kept looking. I was like, where's Uematsu? where is Uematsu? Because they brought out the composer, and I was like, where is Uematsu? And he's like, I couldn't be there because I had a Distant Worlds concert. But, it was kind of like, I have also given this my blessing. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I'm right there with you guys as a fan, and I expect great things, and I've seen great things, and I hope that we all enjoy this. And I was like, yes, yes, absolutely.
That's cool. That's cool. Oh yeah, man. Did you see when the movie's coming out?
They didn't give a release.
Right. And the episodes, the 5 anime prequels, is it all the first episode now, so I guess they're probably going to release the other ones like every week or every month or something?
They could probably get away with month.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that was a bummer, like there wasn't a set schedule for that.
Yeah, that would be nice to have a set schedule so I could be like, okay, I can't wait for this date for the next one.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we'll just have to check in every once in a while.
Right.
But yeah, man, dude, I cannot wait.
Yeah, because they're still doing the VO for the movie. They haven't finished the recording yet, so they've got to do that, and then production. I mean, like it's I imagine it's gonna be like everything else. They're just doing the dubbing, but and I say that because sometimes they actually go in and they tweak the animations for English localization.
Right.
But I don't think they're doing that here.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about console wars, comics, reviews, everything else. Walking Dead, you name it. We'll see you all in a minute. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before we get into some our reviews, let's talk a few minutes about comics, man. Did you see the new Spider-Man Dead No More artwork they showed off?
I love how basically the artwork has been every character who's dead.
Yep, exactly. Even Uncle Ben right there in the middle or the side. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean Uncle Ben, Gwen Stacy, Doc Ock, Rhino, not Kane. Kane. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Rhino's there too.
Kane, Rhino.
Everyone's there pretty much.
Was it Prowler? I think is one of the ones there.
Yep. Prowler, Elektra, or whatever his name is. Ben Riley or whatnot.
It was Ben Riley. It wasn't Kane. It was Ben Riley. Damn it.
Yeah. And there is one other spider guy behind Ben. I don't know if you're looking at the picture.
I'm not looking. Hang on, I can pull it up.
And who's the wolf person with like the
Sable?
head?
Silver Sable.
That's it. Okay.
She's dead too.
Is that Silver Sable?
I don't know if that exactly. Let me pull this thing up here because I don't know.
Like if you look at Gwen, the person if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But there's like a wolf head above her, and like it looks like a guy's mouth in the mask, and I don't know who that is.
I gotta find the whole picture here, but I know because I know there was a whole bunch of them. Okay, here we go. Let me turn this sideways here. All right, we got.
Yeah, it says basically after series of teasers imaged last week, Marvel announced Dead No More will begin to hit this fall with Amazing Spider-Man 19. Artist Jim Chung will join longtime series writer Dan Slott for the storyline. Promises to be a mysterious new villain and to be Peter Parker's biggest challenge yet. The new nemesis is identified by Marvel as the mysterious man in the red suit, which would seem to fit the character seen in the far right of last week's teaser image, standing next to presumed Gwen Stacy. He will offer some of Spider-Man's enemies chance to revive their loved ones if they follow his orders. The villain involved are Rhino, Lizard, Electro, and the returning Doc Ock. So I guess he's basically saying, I can revive your dead ones if you help me.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, we got Gwen Stacy, Prowler, Kane. That is Kane.
The man with the red is the guy standing right behind Gwen Stacy, cheering her. So, and that makes sense. That's that dog thing from Egypt. The
Anubis.
Anubis, that's it. Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Like a power to bring back dead people. Like, here you go. Here is someone you love. Do what I say, and I will bring them back. That will get people doing things.
Yeah. They've even got Madam Web in here. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Electro,
Yeah.
Lizard. God, this
Talk
can be
about
interesting.
making someone do something bad is, hey, I will bring back your loved ones to life.
Yeah.
No joke. Like that would get good people to do bad things. Interesting. That's awesome. So this is what was it? Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, I lost the page.
Dead No More. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I love how that like they teased it like which character is it, and it's like surprise, it's all of them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be Amazing Spider-Man 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah. So that's cool. Which one are they on now?
I don't know.
I need to catch up.
I'm disappointed about being behind on this one. Like the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I'm bummed that I'm not caught up on Spider-Man.
Well, after watching the Batman vs Superman, I thought I really need some DC now because I liked a little bit of the like world building stuff that they were trying to do in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's go read Justice League, and I was like, oh hey, look, it's a mother box and all this other cool stuff. So I'm catching up on that, which is pretty cool. Same thing with Daredevil. I went back and started reading a lot that I missed of Daredevil once I watched the show. But anyway, yeah, apparently Justice League issue 50 reportedly to reveal the Joker's identity.
I let it go. Yeah. I know they teased it with when he sat in the chair, but like why really do this?
Yeah.
I loved the theory that I saw, which was just such total like fan made up stuff.
I think I saw the same thing.
But I loved it where, however it happened, Batman gets sent back in time, which they've done before, but it's just him. He gets thrown back very Terminator style. He gets thrown back naked. He's wounded. He's alone. And so he grabs the first bundle of clothes that he sees, and he's walking down the street, and suddenly he starts to recognize everything around him as he sees these two people and their kid come walking out of a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts to panic because now he's looking around, where is Joe Chill? Because it's the night his parents died. And as he's looking around, he puts his hands in his pockets and feels the gun.
Yep.
And so that's the history that must repeat itself. And he snaps after doing what has to be done for him to become Batman. Mm-hmm. And that turns him into the Joker.
Yep.
And I thought that's somebody with a lot of time on their hands thinking about something that'll never happen. That's also a really cool alternate universe idea.
Oh yeah, where they're like, because I even think, well, have you seen it where he is God Batman pretty much?
I haven't seen, like, I saw the first couple issues of the Darkseid War, but not anything like that was it.
Okay, so there's a point where basically Batman sits in a chair and he can know everything.
Right.
And there's a point where he sees who the Joker is and he's like, that's impossible.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I guess that's what's going to play off. So, that, and 50's coming up soon. I think it's a few more issues away.
Well, it can't be more than a couple.
Yeah.
They're all running up on 52 here pretty quick.
Yeah, I exactly. I think it's honestly this month or next month. So that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's get into. We got some other news. What is here?
Ahsoka.
She's getting her own novel. Okay, so she's getting her own novel. And it's gonna take place between Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah, it's gonna
be released.
Yeah, it's gonna bridge that little gap there.
Yeah, it's gonna be released October 11th, so that's cool. Yeah, man, I can't wait to see the season finale.
Yeah, when I get done with this, I'm gonna go catch up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got here? Disney, Thomas Staggs, Chief Operating Officer, to step down on May 6th, throws Succession after Robert Eager's departure in 2018 into limbo. So what's happening?
Staggs was kind of the heir apparent at Disney.
Okay.
When Iger stepped down, it was going to be Staggs that was gonna take over basically, and there was
Okay.
a lot of talk about favoritism and handpicking and so on and so on, because that's how at the top of corporations that's always what happens.
Hmm.
But he is resigning effective in May. I don't know if I put on here May 6th. Yeah. And so now nobody knows who's going to be next when Iger steps down, because he's supposed to have been gone by now, like not by some sort of like forced out or anything, but he was like, look, I'm going to be, and I think it was this year. And then there was some whatever that happened, and he extended it 2 years. And so now I'm not sure what all's going on over there.
Right. So I guess we don't know who's going to be taking over.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
So just something to keep an eye on.
Right. Right. Cool. All right. Well, here, let's see. Let's just get into some reviews. What do you want to talk about first?
Uh, we've kind of kicked Batman, Superman around for the most part.
Hmm.
So, I think by now everybody knows we're not real crazy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get into it a lot. We'll unpack it in our big Daredevil and Batman, Superman talk. So we'll be doing that soon. We'll kind of do like its own episode where we just dive into both of them.
Yeah.
And unpack them both, and might even get a special guest on the show. We'll see what we can do there, but we'll be recording that probably this weekend, so look for that. It should be up probably Saturday or Sunday. I'm thinking. Check out our Facebook or our Twitter. We'll post it. We'll let you know. But yeah, we'll beat that to death
Yeah.
in there. What do you want to talk about? Maybe console wars first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So tell me right off the bat, what do you think of it?
Man, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
That's the only real word I've got for it. It was an interesting way of taking interviews and research and all this stuff and putting it together in like a narrative structure.
Yes.
And telling
exactly.
a story with it. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was just taking different chunks of time, I liked how every chapter was just like, I forgot some of the names of it, but it was just clever, like about the baseball and about, the Nintendo buying, the baseball team in
Mariners.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Mariners, yeah. Little things like that, or like the Target on the back, or they talk about Target and how they were like, we're not going to sell Nintendo anymore. And I liked that they jumped between Sega and Nintendo and even Sony.
Yeah.
To kind of give you a fly on the wall in meetings, and there's just the dealings, and when Sega had its Summer of Sega or whatever, or the Sega Retreat in Boca Raton, and like just little cool things like that. It was just awesome just hearing like. And by the way, again, of course, we're talking about Console Wars by I just had his name, Blake. Oh, geez, Blake Harris.
There we go.
So
Thank you.
Blake J. Harris.
He did
I cheated. I got the audio book and listened to it, and it was just fascinating, dude. It was just really cool. Like I liked how it kind of opened up like Jurassic Park. Where he went to go get him on the beach, and it's like something's big's happening. We want you a part of it. I had no idea that he was kind of behind like things like the Flintstone vitamins and stuff like that.
I loved seeing like all of these people that were brought in to both companies or all three really when you count Sony, who were responsible for all of this stuff, like the marketing agency they were looking at, and they were like, oh yeah, sure, we got the Nike guys, and then everybody's like, you mean the ones that came up with Just Do It, which they've been using for the last 30 years? Yeah, this group. Okay, cool. Yeah, we didn't go with them. You what?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, because this other ad was like they basically built the Church of Sega. Like, okay, I'll take that. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. You hear them talk about like basically what happened to Sony. Like Nintendo and Sega created that.
Yes, they did.
by their own hands.
Yes,
They
they
created the person that basically took them out.
Yeah.
Nintendo's on its last leg here. Hopefully it's gonna end. It was cool. Remembering as a kid going into the store, not thinking anything about any of this, just going, man, I really want to play Donkey Kong Country, or Super Mario Brothers 3, not knowing a thing about what was happening behind the scenes.
Right.
And this could be an AMC show. This has to be an AMC show. Like, if this doesn't happen, it's a shame. If this isn't pitched, which I'm pretty sure it has been.
It's a movie. They're doing a movie.
I that's what I heard, and that's what I kept seeing and whatnot.
Yeah.
I hope it becomes one. I honestly hope. I'd rather have it become a TV show.
It would be okay for like a limited run. I mean, it would really only be good for like a season.
You really, because it goes from I'm talking about. I want to see like Nintendo, Sega, and then into PlayStation, and then into Microsoft, and like you could do like Mad Men. Because that's how long.
Right.
That's basically how long it was.
Right, but how much does that run up against people who may still be there now? And what kind of problem does that create?
That would be so interesting, though, to kind of get a peek in those, like, the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s. And, like, you could go from season to season to season, and it kind of, you shake it up every season. You have these new actors come in because they're playing new parts in this console war. To me, it would go beyond the book. You know what I mean? Like, it would go well into what's happening right now. And then that's when you cut it off, with the end of the Xbox 360 or something, or up to VR pretty much, because by the time, if it was a TV show, it would be right into virtual reality. Yeah. So I don't know. I that's just my hope, I guess. But man, I loved it. I go read this book. I kind of want to start picking books a little bit more like this. Like, I think the next one that I'm going to pick is probably going to be around the SNL one that I talked about earlier.
There you go.
But real fast before we go, do you have a book that you want to pick?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, I've never read that.
I haven't either. Like, I've never actually read the book.
Awesome. Great pick. All right, Jurassic Park. It's down. So we'll be talking about that next week. Go get it. I'm pumped, man. Yeah, no, I never read that book, so I'm interested to see how different it is. 'Cause I hear it's pretty different.
Yeah, that's everybody. That's what I've heard. It's like it's not quite as family friendly as the film was.
Right, exactly. Yep. So we're gonna take a quick break, but we'll see you guys all in a minute. And who did Jurassic Park, by the way? It was Michael
Crichton.
Crichton. That's it. Okay. So we'll see you guys all in a minute. We'll get back and we'll get into some reviews. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast and the N.FM. We're on our last segment, man. What do you want to talk about? We got wrestling. We got Walking Dead, Flash, Supergirl.
Let's do the DC shows.
Okay, DC shows. Flash was great. I loved it.
Flash killed it. I can't wait for Kevin Smith's episodes.
Yeah,
like that's gonna be cool. He's doing one. It's that airs in May. It's 2/21. So that'll be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Flash, no, I'm pumped for that too.
Yeah, but I mean, Flash just keeps killing it. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I thought he fit in really well with Supergirl. I loved how the jokes about the CW show and stuff.
This is what I love about this. The Avengers. Hey, there's a misunderstanding. We have to fight until we work things out. If Batman v Superman, we have to beat each other up until this ridiculous thing happens. Arrow and the Flash, we have to have a supervillain manipulate things so they fight with each other. The Flash and Supergirl. Hey, I just popped in from an alternate universe. Who wants ice cream?
Exactly.
Like seriously, that's awesome.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome. It was such a great mix. He fit really well in there. I thought it was perfect.
And that made me want to go watch Supergirl. Like I wanted to, and it's been on my list to watch. Like it's just because I haven't gotten around to it. But now I'm like, okay, now I really want to go watch this show.
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally. Well, let's get into it. You want to talk about Walking Dead?
Yeah, man, they went there.
Yeah,
and I am convinced that they went there. I'm not gonna name any names.
Well, should we go into spoilers at this point?
Let's not.
Well, okay. After the show, tell me who you think it is then. Um, because I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, they went there. Yeah, a lot of people it got a lot of backlash about them not telling you, and we won't spoil it, but there is a cliffhanger, and they've been doing this since Dallas. They've been doing this since
Well,
Simpsons,
and
Who
here
Shot
was
Mr. Burns.
yeah, and here was the great thing. Uh, Gimple on the after show on Talking Dead explained why how they justified doing it that way, and it made perfect sense. Which was that ending, what happened there, was the end of that season's story. Like it felt like a bookend. The actual ramifications of that start the next story. And
Right.
and I think I from a narrative standpoint, I love it. I think it makes perfect sense. I think that was brilliantly articulated. And I have, not only am I not upset that they didn't, that they weren't more specific,
Right.
but I think that was a great way to go. I think it was a really well done thing.
Oh, me completely. I completely agree. That's exactly how I wanted to end it. I want to spend all summer talking to people, theorizing what
Yeah.
what transpired and who's going to be in the next season and who might not be. And I love that. It makes perfect sense because they've been teasing all season.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? They've been playing with the audience, and I love that they're like, nope, you'll have to find it. You couldn't have shot it a better way.
No. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was astounding. He's
Oh
perfect.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
absolutely perfect.
I heard some people complaining that Negan's not cussing and stuff. He doesn't need to cuss. He
He
doesn't
he
need to
will in the
cuss.
Blu-ray. They
Yep.
they're doing a director's cut version of that for the season 6 Blu-ray.
Perfect. That's all you need. Do
Yeah.
that for Blu-ray and Netflix. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I saw people get upset. I'm like, what? Come on, that was perfect. I
Yeah.
couldn't ask for anything better. Yeah, man, and it's just gonna get everyone watching next season.
Totally.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we got some time, man. You want to talk about wrestling?
Yeah, let's see what I can do in 6 minutes here.
All right.
uh, NXT Takeover Dallas was amazing. There was not one bad match on that card, but Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, match of the millennium. Like, that was amazing. Did you watch any of NXT Takeover?
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
was out
go!
of town.
It's on the network. Go watch it. These two put on just it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was a great way to send off Sami Zayn from NXT to the main roster full time, and it was an incredible debut for Nakamura. It was unbelievable. Uh, the women's title match was awesome. Uh, Bailey continues to be just ridiculously impressive and find new places to go. Her two matches against Sasha Banks are classic. Even her match with Nia Jax at TakeOver London, she got to showcase kind of a more aggressive side in that, and that was interesting. That was really cool without breaking character, while still being, kind of the happy, cheery, like the classic good guy, but could still break out like, no, now it's time to get down to business. And her match against Asuka was fantastic. Main event was good. It wasn't the best match on the card, but being the second or third best match at an NXT event still means you were better than most anything at a main roster event.
Right.
So, but yeah, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, just, man, God, I love Finn Balor. I really do. Yeah, go watch that. Put that high up on your things to watch list, because it was just tremendous.
Yeah, I need to, for sure.
We'll get into Mania. U.S. title match was good. Team Total Divas versus Team Bad and Blonde, I hope puts an end to everything that's not Divas Revolution. Just because that's the end of the Divas. The Divas is over because it's not the Divas title anymore. It's the women's title, and it's a badass looking belt. Did you see any pictures of this thing?
Oh yeah, no, I watched it.
Oh, that's right, you did see Mania. You actually saw Mania.
Yep,
yeah.
I saw Mania. Yeah.
Man, that title is just wicked, and the match, that was a triple threat match. That was amazing. Sasha and Becky and Charlotte they brought the house down. I love that we're getting to a point where the idea of a women's wrestling match actually being a wrestling match is not news anymore. I love that because that's how it should be.
Oh yeah, totally.
The Usos and the Dudleys, who cares? They did that on Raw again last night. Because I'm not invested in the Dudleys' character developments, and the Usos are just boring. Which for everything they do, a couple of years ago they were awesome, but come on, the New Day, you can't top the New Day. And I mean, they, to the point where they came out of a giant box of Bootios, and that was bad enough. Like that was awesome enough, but they did it, and they're wearing like cardboard painted up Saiyan armor.
Yeah.
Come on. Like that's and Xavier Woods has his hair done up like Vegeta. Are you kidding me? No way. So that was awesome. And that was where you got Michaels and Foley and Austin to come down to the ring. Yep. And they got Shawn Michaels to dance, and that was fun. And they got Foley to dance, and that was fun. And then Xavier tried to get Austin to dance because Xavier was just so in the moment. And of course he got stunned for his troubles. And that was awesome. And just, we had everything else was so good. The ladder match that started it, it set up a great angle for Ryder and The Miz. Zack Ryder pulling down the Intercontinental title. Like that's, woo, woo, woo indeed. Cause I've been a huge mark for Zack and good for him. And then, on Raw last night, with his angle that they're starting with The Miz, it's a good program for both of them. It helps elevate the IC title. Well done.
What about Shane O'Mac?
Oh my God, Shane, rest in peace.
He should have won. Damn it.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing. At the end of Monday Night Raw, it didn't even matter.
Right.
But it was a hell of a match, and Shane willingly taking the dive off the top of the cell. I mean I mean, come on. And I know like he missed, but like and a great show of respect by the Undertaker in where his character has come to.
What do you mean he missed? I thought he hit the table.
Well, he hit the table, but he didn't hit Taker.
Oh, well, didn't the Undertaker roll out of the way?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But and Taker drags him back in the ring, and Shane still, come on, bring it on. And Undertaker just pats him on the cheek, and then tombstone.
Is Shane going to be a big part moving forward, do you think, still?
Yes, he is.
So he doesn't have control over Raw or anything like that?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does? He has control over Raw now? Because
he came out at the start of Raw, and like Vince came out at the very beginning to talk down everything, like what my son did was, it showed how much heart he had, but it also showed how foolish he was, blah, blah, blah. And so as he's done with his speech, Shane comes out and says, "Thank you all so much, goodbye." And they're, cheering and then booing. And so Vince says, wait a minute. Nobody upstages me. You really think you can run this show? Okay, let's see what you've got. And is it
just for one night, or
it was temporary, quote unquote, as a way of Vince saying, hey, look, watch. I told him he couldn't actually do it and the ship would sink, and that's what's going to happen. Two quick things, because I know we've got to wrap up. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, hell of a match. And then on Raw last night, watching him and Jericho and Owens and Cesaro fight for #1 contendership for Roman Reigns' title.
That was good.
That was an awesome match. And seeing AJ Styles, #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, is a program I cannot wait for.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, because they need to make Reigns a heel, I think.
Oh yes, and they started that a little bit. Like I'm not a man, I'm not your man. I am the man. And that was
right,
such,
being a
like,
little cocky.
he had that heel smirk on his face. I'm like, do it. Just, punch Byron Saxton in the face, please.
And what's his face? That's not there right now. The one that was he got injured earlier in the year.
Rollins.
He's to come back and be good. That would be perfect. All right, well, we gotta go. We'll get on all more next week. Again, listen this weekend for our episode about Batman, Superman, Daredevil. Facebook group We Geek Podcast. Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at Adam Step, at the Logan Witt. Gmail is wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. We love you. We see you guys later. Captain.